Qala kanqala latsho elo gwitsho libhengeza ukufika kwethu siliqela lendaba eziphala phambili Ekhaya Jikelele. Ewe kaloku mbukeli siza kuwe ngqo kumagumbi ethu osasazo apha eAuckland Park Johannesburg eGauteng. Ukanti ke mbukeli xa sikrhobisa kweyokuqala nangamanqaku esiye sakuphathela wona. ANC ilungiselela umsitho weJanuary 8 statement ezakubanjelwa eMpumalanga. Kanti ke kulindeleke ukuba uqoqosho lweli luqhubeke ukuma ndawonye kulo nyaka kuba ilizwe lisigise kulonyulo kulo. Kanti ke siye sanalo nodliwano-ndlebe malunga nomba wenqawule ka-Oscar Pistorius. Nakuleke iyure esingena kuyo kuninzi esikuphathele kona. Ndikuxelela isimo sezulu, ezopolitiko, eziphala phambili, ezemidlalo. Qiniseka awugungqi, awuqhushalazi. Ndimlo ke uNokanyezi Kalubisi, ndingumadlengothi Maziphuma Mshukuma umazondo angazakhe. Ncamagushe kaloku napha ematolweni. Yami ndedwa ukhona uMamtshali.
Mbukelisi siqala ihora lesibili ke manje lo hlelo Ekhaya Jikelele. Sathembeka ukuthi usakuphethe kahle phela unyaka omusha u2024. Athina ama New Year's resolutions lapho. New plans, new you. Ihe khona ke othe ziyenzeka izinto kweminye imizi. Uthi ubheka isigubhu sogesi kubhala u00. Hey okusho ukuthi cha ugesi bandla awuthengwanga. Kodwa uma uthi uyabheka futhi ekitchen hayibo xapha ubhontshise estofini. Hayibo kanjani manje? Igama lohlelo Ekhaya Jikelele kanti elangingunoqolo wakamwali uMantshinga. Ihlangana limhlophe eqwa intokazi yale ondini ngaseshamthetho sesifundazwe esidala. Ake sibheke ihamba phambili leli hora lethu lesibili.
It is fixed from inside. Yeah, we've got problems here.
Namhlanje kuhlangana iminyaka eyikhulu kanye ne12 inhlangano ebusayo kulelizwe iAfrican National Congress yasungulwa. Umgubho weqembu elibusayo uzobanjelwa eMbombela eMpumalanga.
Unozinto bafana uthi bazimisele nokuba bafikelele kwisiqingatha sokugqibela sendebe yezizwe zaseAfrika kule nyanga yomqungu.
Unobhala Jikelele we-ANC ufikile Mbalula uthi njengeqembu elibusayo bazophosela inselele iqembu elibizwa nge-MK. Uthi leli qembu lasungulwa ngoNhlaba wanyakenye. uMbalula ukusho lokhu ngesikhathi iqembu lakhe lilungiselela umcimbi weJanuary 8 statement ozobanjelwa eMpumalanga.
Unobhala Jikelele we-ANC ethetha nabaxhasi bombutho uvumile ukuba lo mbutho ujamelene nenhlaninge yengxaki kodwa baza kuzilungisa ngaphakathi.
ANC, it is fixed from inside. Yeah, we've got problems here. Sinamageza nabantu nje uthi umjongile nje uthi yo lo i-problem.
Uthi libothusile kona inyathelo lwayisakuba ngumongameli umnumzana Jacob Zuma lesibhengezo sokuba uza kuvotela umbutho wumbi kunyulo lukazwelonke kulonyaka.
I-surprise lento kaMsholozi. And we have been tested here ukuthi are we equal to the task? And asizumenza i-manifesto yethu JZ.
uMbalula uthi okungenani uZuma ngesiphakamise ngendlela ephucukileyo isikhalo sakhe ngakumbutho kungenjalo ngakumongameli wombutho.
If Jacob Zuma as our former president have got a grievance with Ramaphosa, he should have raised that grievance with us. Asiqalele ukuthi balwa ngantoni.
Uthi okuphambili kwi-ANC ayikokukwempana kothile koko kuqhubisana nemingeni ejamelene nelizwe efana nocimicimi wompane nohanjiso lwenkonzo.
Abantu base-South Africa abafuna ukwazi ukuthi sixabane ngantoni noZuma, bafuna ukwazi ukuthi siyigqiba nini load shedding. And sizayigqiba i-load shedding.
Ukanti qala ngomso umhla wokusekwa imibhiyozo ye-African National Congress kuquka umsitho osiko lwekhekhe kumongameli walombutho umnumzana Cyril Ramaphosa eMbombela. Logama umsitho omkhulu ungumhla we-13 ngalomgqibelo kwibala iMbombela eMpumalanga. Obebhala kwindaba ze-SABC Ndinkundimphiwe Gift Nongqotho.
Kusenjalo usekela mongameli we-ANC uPaul Mashatile namanye amalungu wekomiti yesigqeba Jikelele babe inxalenye yenkonzo embombelana njengoko belungiselela ingxelo yeJanuary 8 ezakunikezelwa ngumongameli uCyril Ramaphosa ngomhla we-13 kaJanuwari. OkaMashatile uthe eliqela limaxhaphethu nokuzivuselela okungaphandle kwabachasi.
Bethabatha ixesha lokunqula uThixo, amalungu wekomiti yesigqeba sajikelele bathabathe ithuba lokuya enkonzweni. Iinkokheli ze-ANC zithi eli ayilophulo lithile leliqela kodwa bakwenza oku ngokuba i-ANC yasekelwa enkonzweni. Usekela mongameli uPaul Mashatile uthi kunabachasi ngaphakathi nangaphandle kweli qela lilawulayo kodwa kunjalo abazokuphumelela kwaphela.
Our house is still standing, 112 years, because it's built on a strong foundation. And I said, like any family, you have family members who behave in a particular way, and I said others will want to break windows, others kick the doors, but there are those of us who are rebuilding, renewing, and this house will never fall. And I meant the ANC.
Kusenjalo umphathiswa wezobulungisa nenkonzo zoluleko uRonald Lamula uthi iqela lezomthetho leli lililungele ityala lenkundla ngakuSirayeli eliza kuba ngolwesine ozayo.
We regretted the Rwandan genocide because it happened during the elections in our country. So it is an important decision that South Africa has taken to The Hague to stop the genocide that is currently happening in Gaza.
Kwakhona uLamula wongeze ngelokuba iGuptans zityholwa ngokucwangcisa ukubamba umbuso ngobhongwane yaye ozibiza njengomprofeti uShepherd Bushiri useza kujamelana nengalo engqengqwa yomthetho yeli. Ukwathe sekuqaliwe nenkqubo yokumbuyisa ekuqhwesheni ukuze ubulungisa budlale indima.
Kulindeleke ukuthi umnotho wakuleli uqhubeke ukuma ndawonye kulonyaka ngenxa yokuthi izwe libheke okhethweni kulonyaka.
Lo ngunyaka apho abemi beli bajonge kunyulo kwaye ingcali zezoqoqosho zithi oku kuza kudala iintandabuzo kude kubekho urhulumente omtsha. Ezintandabuzo ziza kubangela ukungazinzi kubatyali-mali kweli, nto leyo eza kongeza kwimiceli-mngeni ebangelwa ngucimicimi wombane nezinye ingxaki. Unjingalwazi waseWits Business School uYane Rousseau uthi oku kuza kubangela ukuqhwalela kuqoqosho kulonyaka.
In the period up to the elections, there will be a lot of uncertainty, and thereafter a new government will have to be formed. So unfortunately, 2024 will again be a year of low investment in South Africa. As a result of that, economic growth will not accelerate very rapidly, and therefore poverty and unemployment will remain a major problem.
Oku kungangunobangela wokwehla kwamandla emali nokungakhokhelela ekubeni ibhanka enguvimba yehlise ixabiso lemali nzala kwisiqingatha sesibini kulonyaka.
We see economic growth at 1.6% for South Africa, and then we are seeing inflation to drop in the second quarter of 2024.
Ingcali zezoqoqosho zikwathi ngelixa kubonakala imininzi imiceli-mngeni eqhwalelisa uqoqosho, izinto zingajika emva konyulo.
Ubomi kunye nelifa letshantliziyo elingasekhoyo elixhasene nocalucalulo nomfoti uGqirha Peter Magubane buza kubhiyozelwa kwinkonzo yamakatolika eRegina Mundi eSoweto eRhawutini namhlanje. Lo mfoti ongasekhoyo wamkelwa kumazwe ngamazwe ngomsebenzi wakhe ebonisa umzabalazo phantsi kolawulo lorhulumente wocalucalulo kweli. Umsebenzi wakhe ushiya uMzantsi Afrika unovimba obanzi ochaza umzabalazo wenkululeko welizwe.
Sakungenelele iPhalamende malungana nesigameko sokweqa ejele kukaThabo Bester owabedonsa isigwebo sokudlwengula nokubulala. Icala likaBester kulindeleke ukuthi libuyele enkantolo kulenyanga.
Ipalamente iye yeva ukuba ukuqhwesha kukaBester kwakucingiwe kwaye kukho neempawu zokuba wancediswa ngamagosa akwa-G4S. Le nkampani yakwa-G4S yazama ukucacisa ngokuqhwesha kukaBester.
We were unable to identify whether these two individuals are G4S staff members, Mangong prison officials, or whether they were inmates.
In actual fact, some of the things that you would have spoken to, they contradict one another. The times don't speak to each other. For me, it's pure lie.
Kodwa amanye amalungu asepalamente axelela isebe lezobulungisa ukuba isivumelwano sengqesho nenkampani ka-G4S masinqunyanyiswe.
There's definitely something going on, and I think as a committee we do need to take strict recommendations after this.
Ulamola wavuma ukuba waxelelwa ngo-Okthobha walonyaka uphelileyo.
Justice Cameron informed me that it appears to him this exceeds probability or credence. But it's an investigation that is underway from themselves as JICs, but there is also an investigation by both the South African Police Service and the Department of Correctional Services.
Ngexesha ephendula imibuzo yamalungu asepalamente, uLamola wacela uxolo kumaxhoba kaBester kodwa engavumi amakhwelo ukuba abeke phantsi intambo emsebenzini. Kwiindaba ze-SABC, Ndingubulelani Philip epalamente.
Ngaphambi kokuba uphume mbukeli uye naphi na uye esikolweni uye emsebenzini qiniseka into yokubana uyarhabula kuqikelelo lwemozulu kwaye ke uba ngumqhubi qiniseka into yoba uqhuba ngononophelo njengoko sibona uba zikhona izibhaxo zenkungu. Rhabula ungafinci.
Jikelele kweli lomdibaniso ihambile indlalifa yamampondo ingabhungisanga wasithela uzanozuke zengobuso ezweni walila umzi wamampondo katyiwa madoda ngingani ngegazi lusapho lukafaku lukangqungqushe lukathahla kandayeni lalo ngoxolo dolo lomdonyama azanozuko qwanqwanqwala duduma izulu kwaXhosa lasithela ijawa lamajawa salibukele yakhothamba ikumkani yamaXhosa wanqunguphalo umzikaphalo kavela ingxokolo izigodlwana zemazendala zingala ndleleni yazini kunyembelekile umfuziselo omhle kakhawuti amadoda umfunganti yabathu uqumbile kodwa ujongile hamba ke kuhle jawa lamajawe sohlala sikukhumbula kunikela ujela seMzantsi Afrika zeningawalibala amasiko nezithethe zenu teham tengwingwilili qakatha qelele.
Siphinde sikamukele mbukeli lapha ekhaya Jikelele, sibonga kakhulu ngokuthi ke usahlanganyele kanye nathi. Kungensuku zatshwala abafundi bakamatikuletsheni bazokwazi imphumela yabo yokuhlolwa kokuphela konyaka. Kumanje ke iningi kufanele ukuthi ke selikhathazekile noma ke seliyakhetha futhi ke nangezifundo ezoyifunda ezibathakazelayo ke ezikhungweni zemfundo ke ephakeme. Ukukhetha ke izifundo mbukeli yikho ke okubalekile mangabe kusuqedile ke umatikuletsheni. Ukhetha iBcom Accounting Science kungaba ke isinqumo esihle kulabo ke abanolwazi ngeyinombolo. Kanti ke mbukeli uma ngabe ke usayibuza ukuthi sikhuluma ngani, sikhuluma ngokucwaninga amabhuku phecelezi ke iaccounting njengomsebenzi wokuyiphilisa. Uvuyo Qhwesha uyingcweti ke umakade bona nomcwaningi mabhuku uneziqu ke ze postgraduate ze accounting neBcom Accounting Sciences ayithola lapha eUniversity ke yaseWits. Uvuyo nolwazi olujulile lokucwaninga amabhuku lapha ekhaya kanye nasezweni nje ke Jikelele. Ukhona ke lapha endlini zomsakazo ukuze azosixoxela ngohambo lwakhe emkhakheni ke weaccounting. Nawe ke mfundi okumatikuletsheni ungayizuzela ukuthile ke phela ngale ngxoxo. Sawubona Vuyo sikwamukele ekhaya Jikelele.
Sawubona Sinoxola. Thank you for having me here.
Kubonga thina.
Sibingelela nakubabukeli.
Yes, emakhaya. Hayi sibonga kakhulu kujabula thina. Mina ngiyaqala nje ukuhlala phansi ne-chartered accountant. Vuyo ngiyazi ukuthi ngalesi sikhathi sonyaka njengamanje nje abafundi akade benza umatric hayi babambe inhliziyo ngesandla bathukile njengoba sekufike isikhathi. Ngiyazi ukuthi nawe phela wadlula lapho. Mhlambe yipi nje advice ongaba nayo ongabaluleka ngayo?
Yeah. So I think into ebalekile manje sis is that ngoba sebebhalile amaphepha abo they've gone under marking. There's literally nothing that they can do now but just to wait for their results. But I think what is more important is that when the results come out, a lot of people they tend to do a lot of movement, going up and down to universities, trying to get spaces. I think what is important then is that even there you still need to be calm down and wait for the universities at which that you have applied at. And wait for the responses. Some people will have acceptance, some people will have rejection, some people will have waiting list, you know. So I think it becomes important that you don't just run to the universities, but you wait for those responses, especially for people who are on the waiting list, you know. And at the same time, you need to be on the lookout for the universities that have like late applications, for those that are rejected or for those that are still under wait list, you know. So what is important is that there's nothing they can do now. It's just to wait patiently for the results and wait for the responses from the institutions.
Yeah. So ngiyazi ukuthi ngoba vele uma sebeqeda umatikuletsheni njengoba usho nawe sebezohamba bayobheka izipace ema university kube njalo njalo. I-chartered kuba i-chartered accountancy kuyikhono eliyivela kancane la eNingizimu Afrika ikakhulukazi. So ungathi nje wena ungaba yini kahle kahle mhlawumbe ungambeka esithombeni umfundi kamatikuletsheni ukuthi nje yini ukuba i-chartered accountant on a daily basis yini umsebenzi wenu?
Yeah. So being a chartered accountant is quite a diverse profession because within the space of chartered accountancy, some of us are auditors, some of us are financial banking working in the banking institutions, some of us deals with valuations. So it's a diverse profession, but in each and every organization that is out there, chartered accountants are people that are needed. But being a chartered accountant is basically a specialist that deals with international financial reporting standards. People basically that work with the financial statements, basically uxilonga, you know, companies to check the health, you know, of the financial statement of the companies. Like a person who goes to a doctor to check up if there are any issues on their body, you know. And a chartered accountant is a person who have tools to make an assessment about the financial statements, you know, and come up to a conclusion that those financial statements are fairly represented or people can rely on those financial statements. On a daily basis, for me as an auditor, I go to different companies to basically conduct, you know, an audit work, which basically we are obtaining an evidence, of different sections of the financial statements. Someone who works in a bank, for example, they're probably working to close a financial deal where there's a merger and acquisition where one company is buying one company, So some of them, they are dealing with credit analysts on their side, where basically you want to buy a house and someone needs to basically oversee that deal. So it's a diverse profession, and the nice thing about being a chartered accountant is that you're not only limited to work in one space, you can basically transition from one place to another place. So that's the nice thing about it.
So ngiyazi ukuthi ezinye zeinkolelo ezikhona abantu nje general abajwayele kuba nazo accountants in general ukuthi mhlawumbe abantu abadla izamba likaMpondo. Ngiyazi ukuthi wena ungomunye weingane ezu6 ekhaya, umama unikhuliseni nodwa eyedwa.
So that's actually a nice question, because myself, I grew up from Elusigisig, and there's a long mama outside Umchato, and I'm the 4th of the 6 of my siblings, and I'm the first one to go to university. And there's nothing special about me other than the fact that there are a number of teachers along the way from primary to high school who identified the potential in me and invested in me, with their small incomes and advices, and helped me with the applications through the process, and gave me like study guides to say this is how you need to improve your marks so that you can have an access to the university. So it has nothing to do with the fact that you're coming from a rich or poor family, but above and beyond, for me, God has been a fundamental ingredient to my journey, because in as much as I do not have a point of reference to say this is how my life will pan out to be, but I believe that one day, as long as I do my work, I work hard, and I take the advice, one day I will get somewhere. So it has nothing to do about the background. It's more about what you believe in, self-belief as well to yourself, and working hard and having a goal. When you are planning a career, it's like you are writing an essay, but you start from the conclusion to say, where do I want to see myself in 10 years time, and that then shapes the decision that you make today, because like every decision that I make must be in line with where I want to go in the next 10 years or so.
Usakhuluma ngokungena khona ema-university, iziphi ifundo can imagine ukuthi i-maths, i-accounting, maybe ifundo ofuna ukuthi uyiphase kakhulu ukuze uzokwazi ukuthola entrance?
So what is important is that the main requirement must be doing mathematics and English. Those are the two fundamental subjects that they want, Some people, they are chartered accountants, they didn't have to do accounting, a high school and stuff, But what is important is that that's not only the main requirements of the two subjects, is that there's something called APS score. By the time I was applying to be a chartered accountant at VETS, the APS score at the time, it was around 38. Now, when I checked yesterday, the APS score is around 44+%, which means you need to be getting level 7s across all the subjects. If you are doing 4 subjects, you cannot afford not to get level 7 in any of them, because level 7, about 7, that's 49 points. But there's a subject that level 7 will counter 1 point. So that makes now your points to be 7 times 6, which is 42, plus the 1 of life orientation, which is 43. So on its own, that is a disadvantage for someone who goes to a public school who's doing 7 subjects, because it currently doesn't meet the minimum requirements. So, and I think it's important to bring to the conversation that after 2017, when we declared, the country declared free education, which was a barrier on the financial perspective, the institution, they started lifting minimum requirements, from about 39 to about 44, to make sure that some people who are coming from the type of schools that I come from, they actually don't have access, or they struggle to have access. So people who are preparing, not just the guys that are waiting for results, but those that are coming over grade 11, they need to be aware about those dynamics, and they need to up their game to make sure that they get this level 7 to get the entrance.
And abanye-ke abafundi mhlawumbe bangasho nje izinga nje lokwentula kwemisebenzi la eNingizimu Afrika liyakhathaza kakhulu. Mhlawumbe abanye abafundi bangaba discouraged ukuthi umdlandla uphele nje ukuthi bayibone be-university. Mhlawumbe ungabaluleka kanjani la kwi-accounting space? Akukhona amathuba emisebenzi la kanjalo ne-abroad?
Yeah, so with accounting, the jobs opportunities are out there, you know. Actually, I did an interview in August with Auka, a magazine. One of the complaints that, or the question that was brought to the table was that there are few chartered accountants in South Africa because a lot of chartered accountants are relocating abroad to your UK, to your America, to your Canada, to your Cayman Islands, you know, because they are highly demanded in those spaces. As a result, it leaves the gap at home of the chartered accountants, you know. So some people, they were bringing suggestion that actually SAICA, which is basically the regulatory body of the qualified chartered accountants, and other professional bodies, they need to basically put some measures in place where they discourage people to go abroad. So to answer your question, the opportunities are there. There are more chartered accountants that are needed both here at home and abroad.
And ngiyazi ukuthi wena ubuya ko Mexico, ko Chile, njalo njalo. So ungathi mhlawumbe ukuya abroad kuyasiza futhi nokuthi uma usubuyela ubuya mhlawumbe usubone selwenabile ulwazi lakho ulitholile.
Yes. So basically for me, I went to the Cayman Islands where I was working for one of the big 4 companies and auditing basically companies that are domiciled in the UK, US, Mexico, Chile, Spain, and Canada. What that does to you is that it opens your eyes, you know, to having access to other financial institutions across the countries. What are their basically business models? How are they basically generating income? So you're not basically limited on only how we do business in South Africa and only the regulations that say South Africa, because each country have got different regulatory requirements that each company needs to meet for them to trade in those countries. So going abroad, it gives you that opportunity to actually benchmark yourself, you know, as a qualified chartered accountant and the business of the country to say this is how other guys in the first world countries are doing and how can we improve ourselves, you know, as a country as well and our institutions.
Yeah. So ngeke ngabona lapha kulezi ithombe lokhu ivela mangabe sibane ingxoxo ngiyabona ukuthi hayibo usebenzisana nezingane awusenabele njengalokho kafushane.
So one of my passion basically ever since I went to university, as I did mention earlier on, that I was assisted by a number of teachers and a number of organizations such as Tusanane Foundation who came to our high schools, gave us a career talk, gave us a guidance on how to choose careers. So one of my passion was then to invest back by going back to those schools that from communities that are previously disadvantaged to basically give them career talk, career guidance, and also assist them with access to universities. Not just with access. When people, they come to university now, there's also a difficulty of exiting the university because of failure and challenges. So we help these guys to access universities once they're inside through mentorship and other assistance on campus. We make sure that they graduate either on time or they graduate as soon as they can, so that it not only ends with uvuyo waya university, but there's nothing to show for that. Because going to university is not just about going to university. You must come out with a certificate that can enable you to get a job or to further your studies, you know, to be involved in the policy making of the country and contribute to the community in other forms that are there.
Cha umsebenzi omuhle lo wenza uvuyo. It's always good ukubuyela emuva kusizwe abantu especially kuleyo mphakathi leyo engathi ihlwempu noma yentula. Silibonga kakhulu ke ulwazi lwakho lunzulu. Sesiphesa nje ke mhlawumbe ungathina umlezo wakho ke ko matrix abafusa ukungena kulomkhakha.
To the matriculants, we wish them well. Those that are going to do well, they must choose career choices that will enable them one day when they wake up to be able to go to work. But to those that have not done well, it is not the end of the road. You know, it's just a missed opportunity. It's just a delayed dream. They need to come down, not to kill themselves, because it's not worth it. So that is what is important for them. And we trust that the Lord will help them. Thank you so much.
Mbukelekelo ebesikhuluma naye uvuyo qhwesha besixoxisana naye mayelana ngomsebenzi wokucwaninga amabhuku i-chartered accounting njengomsebenzi okuyiphilisa. Siyathemba ukuthi cha intsha izuze okuthile kule ngxoxo. Asiquke ey'tolo siyabuya emva komzuzwana.
Sibambe ngazibini imbukeli we-Ekhaya Jikelele ngokuba usahleli nathi apha kwinkqubo yethu oyithanda kunene kuba nathi sikuthanda kunene. Kanti ngokumbukeli singena kwisiqendu sethu samaphephandaba apho sijonga ezithe zabe kanti ziphala phambili. Imbukeli ke sizawuqala ngalo iphephandaba le-Sunday Times. Njengoke kaloku umbukeli sijonga ke kwiphephandaba siqala ngayo i-Sunday Times ngomxhelo othi iqela elitsha le-MK liceba uZuma. Elinqaku ke lithetha ngendlela awasekwa ngayo umbutho womkhonto wesizwe. Ngokwembono ke yokuba uJacob Zuma ube ngumongameli welizwe. Uyawukhumbula ke mbukeli ukuba uZuma usanda kuphuma exhasa lo mbutho kodwa ke ebeseyinxalenye yeqela elilawula ngequdu i-ANC.
Ekhuluma ke nabezindaba ngaphandle komhlangano wekomiti lesigungu esiphezulu se-ANC eMpumalanga ngolwesihlanu, uMbalula uthe i-NEC isazonquma ke ngekusasa likaZuma. uMbalula uthi ikomiti lesigungu esiphezulu siyalele ukuthi kubhekisiswe itatimende asezenzile uZuma kanye nemizamo yakhe yokwethula noma ukusungula i-MK Party. uMbalula ke wengeze nangokuthi i-NEC izobhekana lolu daba kabanzi nangokujulile ngesikhathi esifanele. Yize ke eseka kakhulu phela i-MK Party uZuma usaseyilungu le-ANC, kanti ke umthethosisekelo weqembu elibusayo uvimbela noma ngabe iliphi ilungu layo ukuthi likhankasele enye inhlangano yezepolitiki. Kanti ke manje siqhubekela phambili ke sibheke elinye iphepha elilandelayo, sibheka iCity Press yona ke enesihloko esithi Never Ending Drama for Ukhozi FM's 2023 Song of the Year. Lapha ke ingoma yonyaka yokhozi FM isiphindi yasuswa omkhulu umsindo lo kubalaleli nabalandeli bomculo. Lokho phela mbukeli kulandela ukuthi umculi kaMaskandi uKhuzana kwaMpungose nengoma yakhe ethi ke umjolo bengenise abalaleli bokhozi FM unyakeni ke u2024. Yena ke uyitholele ingxenye enkulu yamavoti yacishe abe inkulungwane noma ke abe isigidi, walandelwa ke umthandeni nolwa ngengoma ethi Paris ngamavoti angaphezulu kweyinkulungwane engamakhulu ayisikhombisa. Kwase kuthi ke udlala Thukzin nengoma yakhe ethi iPlan baphuma ke endaweni yesithathu ngamavoti amancane angu-90,422.
Hey insida abadala ube yazi mamtshali nawe embukeli. Ngeligxeke abanye besithi ilula nje lento yokuvota, abanye baye bayigxeka ke kabukhali inkqubo yokuvota yesisikhululo. Omnye ke kwinkonzo zonxibelelwano uthi abantu bavotele umculo uKhuzani hayi ingoma. Abanye ke bekhalazela indlela ethandwa ngayo ingoma ethi Mnike. Ila ngoma ke isithi hayike kodwa bathi ayizange iphumelele konke. Ngo-2021 ke esisikhululo esona sikhulu eMzantsi Afrika saphinda safumana ukugxekwa ngethuba uDJ Hlo osanda kufika emculweni wethi wengoma yakhe ethi Isibane waphumelela ingoma yonyaka. Kutshanje ke kwingxelo ephendula kwizitsholo ezibekwe umphathi weshishini wokhozi FM, esisikhululo siqinisekise abaphulaphula ukuba amaphulo engoma yonyaka axhomekeke kwiinkqubo zokumisela imigaqo engqongqo. Siziqala ngolo hlobo ke mbukeli sijonge pha kwiphepha le-Isolezwe ukuba bona kuqhubeka ntoni na. Kwiphephandaba ke mbukeli Isolezwe kunomba onesihloko esithi uphenduke oweshashalazi umncwabo wengqalabutho. Njengoko ke unyaka ka-2023 ufikelele esiphelweni, isizwe sakowethu sigunqiswe zindaba zokubhubha kabuhlungu kombhali wemidlalo yeqonga owaziwa kwihlabathi jikelele. Sithetha ngalo kaloku itshantliziyo elalichasene nocalucalulo nokwangumculi odumileyo kwanemvumi utata uMbongeni Ngema. uNgema ke owayedume ngefilimu eyayijika ifilimu ethi iSarafina wothulele umnqwazi ngomsebenzi wakhe wobugcisa kunye nobunyani obubonisa umoya wabemi boMzantsi Afrika phansi kolawulo localucalulo.
Mbukeli ke kuleli sonto ledlule iinkumbi zamaciko nabalandeli abavela kuzo zonke izinda zempilo batheleke ePlayhouse Theatre eThekwini, inkundla okwabanjelwa kuyo inkonzo yesikhumbuzo sikaNgema. Kubeke sekulandela umncwabo wakhe okhethekile wesifundazwe wesigaba sesibili obuse International Convention Center eThekwini ngolwesihlanu. Inkonzo yesikhumbuzo neyomncwabo kaNgema ubusezingeni elifanele ingqalabutho enjengaye, futhi nje ke ibihanjelwe yicukuthwane namaciko aphuma kuzo zonke izinkalo. Kubalwa ke noNdunankulu kwaZulu-Natal uNomsadube Ncube nowayengumengameli uJacob Zuma kanye nabanye. Hayi ke kuyokhulunyiwe ngengoma ehlukanisa iminyaka.
ayipheli.
Social media, amaphephandaba.
Yazi into ebuhlungu ke ndiye nathi xa ndijonga ipage kaKhuzani Phezolo wabe esithi kukhona indawo eyilali pha eKZN xa siba ibingomakhelwane bexabana. Omnye sithi hayi uKhuzani yingqwela, othomnye hayi bekufanele ba kuwine iParis. Bathini ke ngoku bonzakalisa lo obesithi uKhuzani yingqwela? Ingathi kuthiwa bamsike isandla, ndibone imifanekiso isandla sakhe sixebukile, andazi uba umzi wakhe ingathi bafuna ukutshabalalisa. Into ethi ngokulento ngendlela enzima ngakhona abalandeli sele befuna ukubulalana.
Ibhlungu kakhulu kuze kufike inhlizweni, kuze kufike kulokho nje kanti siyafisa ke babukeli ukuthi nje cha bakwethu akwehlisweni imoya, siphilisane nje ngokuthula, sikho isidingo sokuthi kuze kufikwe lapha ekutheni sekuyalinyaziswana. Cha, asikho impela isidingo nje. Asibonisane noma kukhona lapha singaboni khona ngokufana, vele impilo kanjalo ngeke sonke sihlezi sivumelana ngaso sonke isikhathi.
Masingade sibulelana because kaloku kufanele basiyavuya ngoku sentsho ngabaculi aba abaphuma kwiphondo elinye kwaye bamele umculo weMaskanda. If uyajonga kaloku Song of the Year bekade kuzezinye ingoma ingenguye uMaskanda. Lifikile ngoku ixesha lokuba kuphakanyiswe umculo wesintu, ngapha kukhona ungabonisani ngasonye, abantu bayathukana bayabulalana. Hayi noko masehliseni izikhali sibumbanini singama-Afrika, umntu ngumntu ngabantu.
Mbukeli ke siligoqa lapha ihora lethu lesibili njengamanje ke isikhathi sokuthi nje siqunga seyitolo. Uma ngabe sibuya sobe sesingena ehoreni lethu lesithathu sesibheka ehamba phambili.